What's going on, YouTube people? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for coming back and joining me for the next episode of I'm taking Solihull Moors to the Premier League. If you were with me on the last episode, you'd have seen we were in the winter transfer window. We'd just completed it, showed off the new players that we had signed, talked about shoring up the defence. We also showed you the players that had left, some of those American start of the game new gens really coming to our aid in terms of finances. We then went through, looked at the finances, the league, the club vision, and showed you how the new boys were performing. And in today's episode, we've pushed on. It's the 3rd of May 2026, and that means we're at the end of another season. So let's kick things off by looking at the competitions tab and revealing that we finished in 10th place. We couldn't maintain our good run of form that we had when we were in the playoffs in the previous episode. We finished on 70 points. To get into the playoffs, you would have needed 75. So in fairness, it is pretty cruel that we are only a couple of wins away from the playoffs. But if you look all the way down to Wigan in 12th, there isn't that much between any of the teams. 7 points separating 6th to 12th. This league is one of the most competitive leagues I've taken part in a Football Manager save. So going up as champions are Wycombe. Charlton are joining them in the Championship. You've then got Fleetwood, Peterborough, Wimbledon and MK Dons that are going to fight it out in the playoffs. If we look at the FA Cup, knocked out in the first round by Rochdale, knocked out in the third round by Stoke City in the Carabao Cup, and we're knocked out in the Southern Section round by Bournemouth's under-21s in the Papa John's Trophy. If we go into the Sky Bet League One and show you in a bit more detail, we can see that we finished in 10th place with 46 games played, 20 wins, 10 draws, 16 losses, a goal difference of 1 which really hindered us, 70 points, and we actually finished the season in a bad run of form where we didn't win, or we won 1 of the last 6 games, I believe that is. Looking at some of the stats on the table, we don't really have anybody bothering too many of the categories. Yellow cards though, Max Clifford getting 15 of those, which is not probably something you want to see from a new gen defender. Overall then, pretty disappointed to have missed out on the playoffs. Think we were capable of doing it, but it's one of those where a run of form towards the end of the season really did compromise what had happened. If we go into the schedule and show you that, we can see here where we finished in January. We were going into February and we had a really good run of form going. We beat Barnsley, Northampton. We beat Barnsley 3-2, drew 2-2 with Northampton, beat Lincoln 5-4. We then had a 2-2 draw with Bolton, a 0-0 draw with Charlton, 2-1 victory against Preston, a 2-1 victory against Rochdale, and then the wheels fell off at the end of the season. And most of our goal difference fell away due to a 4-3 defeat against Wigan, 3-0 defeat against Bradford, 3-1 defeat against Fleetwood. We lost 3-1 against the MK Dons, 2-0 against Peterborough, 3-0 against Colchester and 3-1 against Port Vale on the last day of the season. So really did fall apart defensively, and I think that is one area that we are really going to have to look at as we go into the new season and have a second crack at Sky Bet League One. Look at the finances with which we have to do it. We have £1.4 million in the bank, not too bad. I think we're going to have to go and definitely invest in defenders. We're going to have to try and shore up that defence and stop leaking so many goals. Maybe another forward is needed. We're going to lose Tony Moore, who is going to his new club Sheffield United at the end of the season. Ezio Toure had struggled for goals earlier on in the season, so we'll have a look at him in a little bit, but I think we probably do need an out and out striker, and then maybe back to America to pick up a few more of those types of players where we can develop them. Ian Beveridge was certainly one that we're looking at for the future, so fingers crossed we can find a few more of those. And even if we have to move them on and then start to buy established players, it's still going to be the method going forwards. Looking at the club vision, board are absolutely delighted. They only wanted to avoid relegation, so we have done that, finishing 10th place. To summarise, the board feel you're doing an unbelievable job and are clearly the right manager for the job. We are untouchable, so we hit all of our targets, work within the wage budget, avoid relegation from League One, be competitive in the FA Cup, be competitive in the Carabao Cup, and reach the knockout stage of the Papa John's Trophy. In terms of developing the players in the club's youth system, they're satisfied. We did loan every single youth player that was looking promising out to get some first team experience, which may be an interesting thing to do, but it's one that I think if they can't get in our first team yet, definitely get them some first team football. Play possession football, play attacking football, play entertaining football, play high tempo pressing football. They are pleased or delighted with all of those. Fairly pleased with the quality of the Gegenpress. 0-0 draw against Coventry pleased them. Pleased with the level of support in the squad. Disappointed though about the defeats against MK Dons, Colchester and Port Vale. We go to the supporters. We only get a C+ for the season from the supporters. Play attacking football, play possession football, make the most of set pieces, all pleased. Play high tempo pressing football, they are delighted. They're fairly pleased with the quality of the Gegenpress, but they are also criticising the defeat against MK Dons, defeat against Colchester and Charlie Raglan's performances. So whether that means that they don't have any faith in Raglan and maybe he needs to be replaced is something to look at. Next up, if we go to the squad, let's have a look at how some of our players have finished the season then. So in terms of those new gens that came in, Clifford, he has developed into a decent enough player that maybe if we get a bid in the summer, we could move him on. I didn't intend to play him as an out-and-out starter, but he did start 26 games in the league, and I think he's one who, at the age of 22, doesn't have too much more development in him. We might move him on in the summer. We have Kyle Albon, who is 19 years old now, still developing as a footballer despite all those arrows suggesting otherwise. He didn't play too much football this season. The step up from League 2 to League 1, I think, was just at the ceiling of where he's going. Next up is Matthew Waite. He played 19 games. He's been developing quite nicely, valued at 40,000 to 550,000. Now has 62 games for the club, so hopefully he will continue to develop at the age of 20. Next up, we have Harvey Williams Honeyman, who has been getting experience in international games with the USA in the under-20s. He's club captain, still developing nicely as a player at the age of 20. I do feel he might be the next one to be targeted by bigger clubs, and if that happens, maybe it's time to cash in. But for here and now, he is definitely in our plans going forwards. The next player we can look at, Oliver Hall and Josh Jackson spent seasons out on loan. If we have a look at Josh Jackson, he actually played 15 times in the Vanarama National League, getting a 6.8 average rating. He got 2 goals and 2 assists. So even though he is developing nicely, there was a big down arrow there on determination, which is a little bit disappointing to see. In terms of Oliver Hall, another player at the age of 19 who is still developing, went to Fylde, only played 4 games, which was a little bit disappointing. Would have hoped he could have got a bit more first team experience, but he's still developing. Next up, Tony Moore, as I said, he's now going off to Sheffield United on his permanent deal. Finished the season with us with 15 goals and 33 appearances in League 1. I think there is a lot more development to come from him at the age of 19. Probably have sold him a little bit on the cheap, but we definitely needed those defensive reinforcements, so we took the money that was available to us when he was there. Next up is Ian Beveridge. This is the player that we're quite excited about. He's developing nicely at the age of 19. Probably going to be targeted quickly by other clubs, but with more being moved on, we're not going to look to do that in the here and now. He got 13 goals and 29 appearances. He got 8 assists and played some absolutely fantastic football to help us maintain a mid-table position. Ezio Torre, as I said, he had struggled to get into the first team. The step up in quality was a little bit too much for him. We did try and ease him into some games, but from the 5 he did play in the league, he scored 4 goals. Maybe now that Morey's been moved on, Torre comes back into the fold. And the last one is Tom Long, who spent the season out on loan at Morecambe. Only played 3 times, which again is disappointing. He did score though in the 1 game that he started, so there is a bit of development there for him. Still only 19. Hopefully he'll come back and start to develop. If we go into the squad planner and look at the best 11 first, we can see we have Boot, Newton, Forbes, McEntee, Matheson. We've then got Dempsey, Maycock, Williams, Sabara, Moore and Beveridge. So Moore being moved on probably means that Beveridge will fill in with the DLF slot. We've got Torre then going back into the striker role or the advanced forward role. Also looking at our defenders, we have Matheson, who is a 2.5 star, Newton, who is a 3 star, but 2 star for Forbes, and McEntee 2.5 star. So probably need another central defender, and going into the season I think is going to be the priority. And then from the assistant report, Boot in goal, Newton, Forbes, McKenty, Matheson, Dempsey, Maycock, Williams, Honeyman, Sabara, Moore and Beveridge there too. So looking at some of the strengths, midfield depth, youth prospects, decisions, defensive depth, midfield, attack, tackling, rushing out. Some of our weaknesses, jumping reach, so we need to go and find players who can jump better. Finishing isn't the best. Players struggling for form, so Raglan finished the season poorly with a 6.2 from his last 5 games. Work rate, players don't want to work hard. Pace isn't the best in terms of pace. Overall depth, there is enough there to say that we do need to try and use our second season in League One to develop the squad and also go out and try and improve the players that we have currently on the pitch. Hopefully with that £1.4 million in the bank, if we get to use that, we can go out and do that, no problem. Also going to try and target a few more free transfers in the summer transfer window. Maybe go back to the Premier League teams, have a look at those, see if we can get 1 or 2 of the released players. Also looking in America once again at those start of the game new gens, see if we can go and pick up another Ian Beveridge or Tony Moore. So the plans are in place to get us out of this division. So we finished 17 points off of the top of Sky Bet League 1. We know roughly the areas that we need to improve. We need to concentrate on getting further up the table. Hopefully next season we'll be able to break at least into the playoffs, if not into the automatic spots. It's going to be a tough season ahead as we look to progress forwards and reach the championship. Right then, for this episode, I'm going to leave it there. Big thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to help the channel. On the channel, there are lots of other things too. If you like Wonder Kids, tactics, hints, tips, tutorials, let's plays, I have something for everybody right here on the channel. For this one though, big thank you for watching. I'm going to see you on another video very soon.